Wanakam. I think it's a much more delicious and beautiful word than hello, don't you think? Really. I mean, when I say wanakam, I feel like somebody's gonna come out from the bushes and say, Shazam! Like, wanakam, Shazam! It makes me think of rainbows and unicorns. So, wanakam to all of you. Thank you for hosting me, Chennai, TEDxYouth Chennai. It's a wonderful opportunity to be here again, and I would like to say selamat sore to all of you, which means good evening or good afternoon in Indonesian. So, this is the Tao of Ouchies, and it is a joyful talk about pain. I will explain how and why I distinguish between pain, hurt, and what my closest circle of friends and family know as the Ouchies. Okay, so first of all, it is time for a gentle check-in from a barefoot stranger. A little bit of audience participation. Now, the organizers have assured me that the cameras will not be pointing at any of you during this, so this is a safe space. Feel free to act accordingly. Please close your eyes for those of you from the seeing community. I am an arts and disability advocate and researcher, and I'm very happy that TEDxYouth at Chennai is going to have these talks subtitled also for those of us in the deaf communities. So for those of us in the seeing communities, which seems to be most of us here today, please close your eyes. I'm going to close my eyes too. The spotlight is already. Okay. Okay. Now, go along with me for a second. Please raise your hand if you are currently in pain, whatever interpretation of that word you would like to give it. So it can be physical pain, it can be emotional pain, it can be amorphous pain, it can be the pain of having some lady in a ridiculous outfit tell you what to do. Okay. Please raise your hand. I'm not looking either. Think about what pain means to you. If you have raised your hand, think about the meaning that you give to this feeling. And if you have not raised your hand, really feel the absence of pain. Think about what the absence of pain means to you. Okay, hands down. Hands down and eyes open. Simon says, okay, fantastic, thank you so much. I'd also like to explain this ridiculous outfit. It is from a style I term traditional lazy. That's the official name for this style. So, that was an interesting experience because we rarely acknowledge in public, even if other people don't know whether we have or not, right? That we are in pain. Society generally frowns upon us expressing our personal pain in public. So let me start off. I am in pain. I am pretty much constantly in pain. From the minute I wake up and experience the world to the moment I fall asleep. Sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, I experience pain. Sometimes I don't feel it. How can that be? I can experience pain but not hurt. Let me describe to you the distinction. So I have a neurological condition. That means my chest and the right side of my body feels differently from my left. Okay? So this feels differently from this. Oh, microphone also. The microphone is another reason for why this side feels different. This feels differently from this. Okay? And sometimes I really feel it a lot. Like earlier, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I was going in and out, and I was feeling really crappy about myself because I was thinking, oh God, you know, I'm missing my friends' talks. Yesterday, the dress rehearsal, they were so amazing, and I really wanted to support them. And I thought, oh, why can't I go see their talks? But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that whole experience later. So sometimes it can get really bad to the point where I just really have to lie down and close my eyes, take a nap, or fall asleep. But the best parts are when I'm on stage, when I'm performing, when I'm writing. when I'm thinking of a piece of art, when I'm communicating with my friends and family, when I'm hugging somebody I really love, then I don't feel it. When I'm watching a comedy, when an ad comes on TV that makes me laugh, when I see a little kid dance, I don't feel it, So it ranges from a little tingle to sometimes getting really bad when I've had a long day. I really get the ouchies, okay? So this all started to this extreme level about 2 years ago. When I was in New York City, I just finished my master's program in media art, and I noticed my little pinky started to lose feeling. Just the little pinky, it's like the canary in the coal mine, right? Just this right pinky, and then it spread out to my hand, and then to my arm. And I remember G-chatting with friends who were on the other side of the world because they were the only people awake at that time. It was very early in the morning. And I said, I think I'm losing more and more feeling throughout my right hand. And they said, you need to go to the hospital. So I took a subway to the hospital. By the time I reached there, my entire right side had gone numb and stiff, and it started buckling, and it started becoming very painful. So it was sort of numb on the outside, but very, very painful on the inside. And that didn't stop actually until today. And for 10 months, I had to go back home to Indonesia after a lot of medical mishaps and mistreatment in the medical system, etc. And I had to take what I called my spasbatical, my spastic sabbatical. Get it? Spastic sabbatical, okay. Portmanteaus. So I had an amazing circle of friends and family around me who realized, along with me, and were as surprised as myself, that in the midst of so much intense pain, I was really freaking happy. I was really freaking happy, and I think it was because I'm a woman who has experienced a lot of physical and mental health weirdnesses over the course of her life, and many crises. And every time I hit rock bottom, I would say, it cannot get worse, and then it would get worse. It cannot get worse, and then it would get worse. And I'd bounce back, and it would get worse again. And in the fairy tales, you're supposed to have a happy ending, right? You're just supposed to then your life is amazing. That never happened to me, and I realized that this was the rock bottomest of the rock bottomest. And I just didn't have the energy, honestly. I was going over this talk yesterday, and I thought, what it really was? I just did not have the energy to feel sad anymore. I really just did not have the energy to feel angry anymore at medical mistreatment or whatever had happened to me throughout my life. It takes a lot more effort to frown than to smile, So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna be happy. I started a private Twitter account where I made lots of, really inappropriate jokes about my spasticity. I came up with a code name with my friends for each part of my body. So each part of my body was a different diva. So my chest is Beyonce. And for those of you who will be watching this later and who know me personally, Lady Gaga and Cher are really acting up right now. So that is a personal joke for you. And it was during that time when I realized, okay, I'm really happy right now because I have all the time in the world to just literally lie in bed because I could do nothing else. It was difficult for me to walk. I couldn't even hug my mother and father because I was experiencing so much pain. I could do whatever I wanted. So I watched all the movies I wanted to see. I took it as a 10-month vacation, I read all the books I wanted to read. I wrote constantly. I submitted things to publishers that have now been published. I started producing little events in my head that would later come to fruition when, 10 months after that, I decided, you know what? I'm going to have this condition. I accept these things. And really, this has taught me that all along when I said, okay, I bounced back, I really wasn't listening to myself. What I really, really, really wanted to do each time I bounced back was to commit to only doing fun things. That sounds utterly hysterical in today's society, right? You're not supposed to have fun in life. You're supposed to work hard and achieve your goals, and you're not supposed to have fun working hard necessarily, but I realized, you know what? I'm in so much pain constantly, I have really, really nothing to lose. So I wrote my first poem when I was 5. And I've always wanted to write and I discovered performance when I was in New York City, so I was like, you know what, I really should be a full-time writer and artist. So when I accepted the first thing, which is pain, and that I would always experience it, and that everybody around me experiences pain of some kind, and I was no more special than anybody else in the universe, I'm alive, therefore I experience pain. I just happen to have different kind of it, then I was able to really pursue the acceptance of joy. The acceptance of pure joy. And when that happened, I was able to write this poem, which is about the experience of pain as it meant to me during those 10 months. I was very happy, but it was also very difficult. Those two things can coexist, you know? It was very difficult learning how to move again. It was very difficult, you know, seeing your friends on Facebook, going to far-off destinations, and you're in your bed. But when I had accepted these things and I could write freely, I wrote this poem, and it's called Sliding Scale. And this is dedicated to all of you in the audience who have been asked this question that begins the poem. All right. Yes. What is it on a scale from 1 to 10? Is it aching, burning, raw, enraged, radiating, agonizing, stinging, stabbing? Is it separating? Does it feel like a carcass under 2 tons of meat pounder, up and down eternity, an apex of weight? Is it mother's arm in the night, the color of Langsat, glowing radioactive as a Chevy truck arrives and crushes it, grates it to the asphalt, sparing only her rainbows? Is it the mouth of a gash? Sing it like a scream. Who is invisible in there? Is it malingering? Is it attention you gouge out of knees to bring them to the floor? Joints and flesh uncertain of the stage views, all the world's pity and disinterest and love disguised and amplified and on the same trembling sides. Is it the neighbor man reaching his hand inside, putting beady-eyed just to catch him in the door? Is that a nightmare? Is it her face? Is it his? Is it their legs in your covers and wondering which of these many weak bodies is weaker than yours? Who could you get more pleasure from and which of their open wounds? Is it a wound? Is it a blister, a bruise, a boil, a pimple, an ingrown curse from an ancestor thick in the face and spitting through the eons, heckling at your flesh to carve in it? Did it begin when you turned the corner and the clouds looked a lot like that homicide car you passed and the streetlights went out and everything became a cloud and you passed out? Was it in the bathtub? Was it at the cubicle? Or in the lap of a terrified stranger, the point of a revolver, because this man is not what his mother always thought he would be. This is money, kid. This is money. And I will pay you to shut the doors of Hollywood Free for good if you eat this, swallow this, believe in these studies. I love you. I manufacture these compounds out of cashmere concern and sugar in my given veins to sugar, baby. Are you saying you haven't heard about my own mortgage like a noose and my own father slit in the chest? You think that comes free? Did it begin with men in peaked headgear who terrorized your ancestors' chickens and worse? So much worse you feel the sickening of history like a plague in all your parts. And I caught it from him, Miss Hysterical Disease. Are you saying colonialism didn't give you the flu? Or are you just trying to get him in detention? It must be going around. It must be terror so dark it spits void. It must be a needle in the lower eyelid going through the cheekbone. It must be the heat. We are shedding so much of our baby faces. I mean, really, disintegrating. No wonder muscles are always breaking down. This is a planet of slow and hell if you're a human skin. No, I honestly can't hear your answer, girl. Are you dancing to show you can still make the party? Or was that a spasm? Or are you being clever? What are these bales of letters on your tongue when all I want to know is a number? Thank you. So after I wrote that poem, I felt a huge sense of relief. I'd accepted pain and I'd accepted joy. And along with accepting who I really was, not what I thought I should be, who I really was, what I really wanted to do, how I really had fun, which in true nerdy style was reading and writing and making art. I decided to accept that I was an artist with disability. Now in high school, I had interviewed a woman. I graduated high school in Australia, so I interviewed a woman in Australia who was blind. And I automatically assumed that, oh, blind people, God, they can't see colors or paintings. God, poor thing, what a life she must have. What a life she is doomed to. I am deeply sorry. I am deeply sorry to all the members of the blind community around the world that I thought like this, but I did. Like, unfortunately, a lot of people do. And when I accepted that I was an artist with disability, with invisible disability, but disability nonetheless, I began to learn more about disability. I Googled artists with disability from bed. I was thinking there must be other people like me, there must be other people like me, artists with disability. And what I found blew my mind, so to speak. That's kind of what happened to me. I discovered people all around the world making art together of all kinds of different abilities. And I discovered that if you think that people who are wheelchair users cannot be dancers and dance activists and travel the world making art and teaching people who are able-bodied to dance, like some of my friends, then you are missing out. If you think that blind photographers do not exist, then you are missing out. Because I have friends who have projects with blind photographers who are blind photographers and they're amazing. If you think that a woman with Williams syndrome or Down syndrome cannot be a professional performing artist earning more money than I have in some months with her gigs, then you are missing out. There are people all around the world who do not see disability according to the medical model, that people who have disability are somehow different or less than, but according to a social and affirmative model. Before I used to see people with disability as them, right? As other people who were experiencing pain just because they had disability. After I accepted that I was an artist with disability, I realized that having a condition that impairs your sight is no different from having curly hair as opposed to straight. Really, there's no difference. There's no difference between a woman who is deaf and a woman who is bearded. Okay, there is more discrimination attached to people who are bearded and women. But there's no difference between somebody who has a crooked nose and someone who is a wheelchair user. Really, it's all just difference. The pain does not come from being inherently different. The pain is from society's discrimination and from public policy that does not recognize the needs of the largest minority in the world. People with disability are the largest minority in the world, and I'm so proud to be here in this room with people who also have disability like myself, brothers and sisters of different kinds, people of all abilities. So, I used to call myself bedbound, and I used to be very location dependent, meaning I could only stay in my bed in Jakarta. Over the past 1.5 years, since I came out and committed full time to only doing fun things, I've performed and been published in more countries than I can even be grateful for sometimes. And I'm very happy to finally achieve this pipe dream. This past month, I have been in 4 countries, and Chennai is the 10th city I've been in this month alone. And it's not... I write freelance, I perform, I'm an arts consultant, I work out of my laptop while I'm on the road. I can see the world, and I'm still dependent on beds. You know, earlier the TEDxYouth at Chennai organizers were shuttling me to and from a bed at one of the hostels here. And I was really getting pissed off, like I said, you know, at myself. I was like, God, ugh, you know, I feel really crappy about disappointing my friends and the organizers that I couldn't see my friends' talks. And I was like, why, you know? And I realized, you know what? You're giving a talk about accepting pain, Olga. Why don't you accept it, really? And what got me accepting pain once again was I was eating the vegetarian thali, the South Indian thali, and I've always believed that South Indian food is magic. So, I ate a pepper that was extremely spicy while I was eating the thali in bed, right, lying down. And it jolted me awake. It was just so freaking spicy, right? And that was, I felt like it was like a message from the universe being like, come on lady, shut up. You know you will be fine in a few hours. This happens to you every day. Like, you're gonna see other talks, you can see your friends' talks on YouTube, everything is fine. You know, first she was here and now she's here. But really, as all of you know, being joyful day to day, accepting pain and joy and whatever your situation is, that takes work. And it doesn't feel like work when you're really being joyful, right? Everybody has these little annoyances that happen day to day. Maybe you're gonna go home and it's gonna be super trafficky. Or maybe, you know, like lightning will strike on your favorite movie theater and you won't get to watch, you know, Hrithik Roshan and the newest movie, which I actually really want to watch as well. So if anybody wants to watch the movie with me, then I would be happy to. So really it's a continuous process of constant psychological affirmation, of joyfulness, of constantly just focusing on the joyful parts. Okay, pain is sometimes a hyena that attacks me, and sometimes it's just that little pebble in my shoe that forces me to stop and smell the roses. And sometimes, pain is also that very thing which I remember brought me to this place of courage and friendship and meeting people around the world who also accept pain and joy in different situations, whatever the situations are, whether they consider themselves a person with disability or not, in different ways that have taught me how to live. So I am extremely happy that pain has brought me to acceptance, and that acceptance has brought me to still pain, because pain never really goes away, ever, in life, but overwhelming joy that engulfs the pain, and rather more cookies. I don't know why this has happened since I've accepted my predicament. I've gotten tons of free cookies over the past 1.5 years, not sure why. And the disability community that I'm so proud to be a part of, the arts and disability community around the world. This is a conference in Sydney that I went to, has opened my eyes to so much creativity and so many new ideas and projects and real empowerment for ourselves and real tweaking with the thinking of people through the best way I know how, which is art. When I'm standing here in front of you, I don't think you see me as, God, that poor girl who has pain all the time. I hope not, right? If somebody performs and is loud and proud, like many of the speakers we have seen today who have overcome obstacles, you don't see them as weak. You don't see anything but their creativity and the connectedness of their human soul to yours. So this is me and some of my friends and an idol of mine, Picky Cuppers, and notice how you can't tell which one of us has disability, which doesn't. Who doesn't? This is me and my friend Jackie in Adelaide. Jackie's part of Tutti Incorporated, which is an organization that works with people with various intellectual disabilities, and they've been around for, I think, 16 years. And when I went there, I felt so ashamed of myself that it had taken me so long to admit to myself that what I really wanted to do was be an artist. Because my friends were telling me, who had Down syndrome, who had Williams syndrome, who had cerebral palsy, they were saying, Oka, we're professional artists and we love it. And they were organizing their own new media and film festival that was only by and for artists with learning disability. If you submit a film there, you have to be a person with a learning disability, an artist with learning disabilities. And now I'm grateful to say that this is commonplace for me, that I can make projects together. This is, Jackie is doing a gamelan piece of sound art. Gamelan is a traditional Indonesian instrument, and I'm recording it with an iPad. That these collaborations between people with different abilities, they're commonplace to me, but I've realized that they're not so for people around the world. So I'm grateful to have lectured at such illustrious institutions as IIT Madras and elsewhere, just to get people to see things differently. Every single picture of me performing, everywhere around the world, I'm smiling. I'm so joyful. In every single picture, I am in pain, but I don't feel it. It doesn't hurt me. I would like all of you, one more time, to kindly obey this lady in a ridiculous outfit, and please close your eyes once more. Please think about the role that pain has had in your life, from when you were born to now. What it has meant to you. Whether it was physical pain, and the meaning that you ascribe to that, whether it was emotional pain of some kind, and the meaning you ascribe to that, and how it relates to who you are now, your true self, what you really want, who you really are. Now please open your eyes. The most beautiful thing that I have learned from my life and my experiences, which I think are not different from anybody else's in terms of their character, is that pain is not what we think it is. Pain is not fixed. Pain is not immutable. Pain fluctuates. Pain is liquid. Pain is perception. I used to perceive people with disability as them versus my community. I used to perceive people with disability as them versus us, as people who innately had pain because they had disability. I produced a disability poetry show at the US Embassy Cultural Center in Jakarta last December with people of all abilities. We had like 20 performers, all ages, all abilities. And I had friends come up to me afterwards and say, you know, oh, I was crying through the whole thing, I was crying. And I asked them, why were you crying? Why were you crying? I hope you were crying because of their talent. I hope you were only crying because of their talent. If you saw on stage a girl who is blind and really talented performing her poetry, I cried too, but I didn't cry because she was blind. I cried because I was so proud of her, and I knew she would go on to do great things. And if she was blind, it was part of who she was. Each one of our wounds shapes who we are, and what we think of as a wound in other people and in ourselves may not be a wound at all. Pain has sculpted who you are at this very moment. The individual ways in which you have experienced pain, whether or not you have let it hurt you. It has made you who you are, and it sculpts your every breath and your every living second. And the most beautiful lesson I have learned is that pain can actually be joyfulness. Thank you.